What's up guys, it's Seem here, and in this video I want to show you 3 e-commerce brands that are absolutely killing it with their email marketing strategy. The brands are Heart&Soil, Carnivore Snax, and Hostage Tape. And I have chosen a email campaign from each of these brands, which we're going to analyze. And I'm going to show you how they use direct response copywriting and storytelling to sell their products. The great thing about each of these campaigns is that you can just take one of these ideas and recreate a similar campaign and send it from your brand in less than 30 minutes. So let's start with Heart&Soil. So if you're not familiar with this brand, they sell beef organ supplements. And we're going to have a look at a campaign where they zoom in on one customer testimonial. It's basically a story about a customer who was struggling with a skin condition, and he basically managed to solve it by using Heart&Soil's product instead of traditional medication. So let's start with the subject line, which is "My doctor laughed at me." Now for me, this is like a 10 out of 10 subject line for a variety of reasons. Number one being is that it promises a story. Number two, it's very curiosity based. So if you are logging into your inbox and you see a campaign with a subject line that says "My doctor laughed at me," your first reaction will most likely be, well, why would a doctor laugh at you? Which just makes you want to read more. Third, it's lowercase subject line. So using lowercase subject lines is the first signal to me that the email campaign hasn't been written by AI or ChatGPT, which is a very positive signal because people who are on your email list, your subscribers, they don't want to receive emails from a robot. They want to receive emails from people like you and me. So that is a very good thing that they've done here. And number four is quotation marks. If you have read David Ogilvy's advertising book, he mentions that if you put a headline, or in this case a subject line, in quotation marks, there's a higher chance that it will be read. So obviously this is not something that you would do for every subject line. Obviously context matters, and in this case it fits here because it's actually a direct quote from a customer. So let's move on to the email here. So the first thing that you will notice about an email campaign is the first line. In other words, a hook or a lead. It says, when Joshua told his doctor he would treat his severe skin condition by changing his diet instead of taking medication, his doctor laughed. So again, it starts with a story, but most importantly, it's a story about a situation we've kind of all been in. We've all had like a condition or a flu or whatever like that, and we need to visit the doctor. And our automatic reaction is to trust the doctor right away. At least that's the case for most people. So this is a story about a guy who ignored what the doctor had to say and tried changing his diet instead. Also, I like the fact that they use GIFs, using GIFs and memes as just adds personality to the email. Here is the actual testimonial itself. So for years, I struggled with, I have no idea how to fucking pronounce this, real nasty highs for those who don't know. My dermatologist wanted to put me on proton pump inhibitors and strong sedatives, but when I declined and I said I wanted to try changing my diet first, he laughed in my face. During that time, I had been eating an animal-based diet and taking this organ supplement, and the effects that it has had, not only on my skin, but also my mood, has been revolutionary. So again, there's a couple of things going on here. So the fact that this is a direct customer testimonial just adds social proof to the email. It adds credibility. And the fact that they've added a before and after picture here just magnifies the social proof. It makes it more dramatic and more believable. And also this is just a case of like classic problem solution marketing. It's basically saying that a person was struggling with a skin condition. He was thinking of trying traditional medication, but instead he opted for another solution, which is the organ supplement. It positions the brand against another category, which is traditional medication. Let's have a look at how they transition to the sale now. So Joshua was able to cure what conventional medicine could not with a very simple idea. The idea that the foods we eat have a powerful impact on our health. And even if you don't have crazy hives like Joshua, your body still deserves the most bioavailable nutrition on the planet. Here, they have sort of delivered the big idea of the email or the transformation that comes from the story, which is trusting your doctor's advice isn't always the right choice. That's what Joshua learned in his case, and that's also the idea that the email is trying to convey to the reader. Here is also objection fighting. So not everyone who reads this email will have like the similar skin condition, and those people will have a question of, what if I don't have a skin condition? Should I still use the beef supplement? And here they have provided different use cases. So here they say, if you're dealing with brain fog, or you have energy crashes, or you're just feeling tired and you want to feel incredible, then trying out the beef supplement makes sense for you. Also here, they have kind of added one last educational point. So organs contain more vitamins, minerals, and nutrients per gram than just about any other food on the planet. So all in all, this is a very strong direct response email campaign. And the second campaign that we're going to be looking at is from Carnivore Snax. This is a brand that sells meat snacks or meat chips. So the subject line here is "This radicalized me." Again, a very strong subject line. Similar to the previous one, it uses curiosity. So anyone reading this will ask, so what's this? What radicalized you? It's also lowercase, as I mentioned. This is better. And also it just adds like an angry emoji to the subject line, which I think works pretty well here. And then if you read this email, the subject line creates all the drama. It says, "This radicalized me." You can see that the person is pissed. And the first thing when you open the email, you see seagulls. So this is just ridiculous humor. The biggest assholes on the beach, man, what is their deal? So a few things which I like about this hero section here is that it uses ridiculous humor. So immediately when you see this, you're probably gonna laugh, and it also stands out as non-corporate immediately. And also the tone of this hero section is very conversational. So you can see immediately that it's a campaign written by an actual human and not AI. And the picture here is just a perfect addition to the email. And here you just spent the past 30 minutes schlepping all your gear to your spot. You're sweating profusely after hammering a stake into the sand so you can erect an umbrella. Definitely isn't going to blow away in 4 minutes from now. Once a strong gust of wind kicks up, sending you running down the beach like an idiot, trying to chase the thing down before it impales an elderly couple. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. But the thing that's going on here is just, it's the copy itself is very visual. So it sets the scene perfectly, and you can actually imagine yourself being in that type of situation. And here you finally get all your stuff set up, and you plop back in your chair when one of those bozos waddles over and hits you with the seagulls there. Oi mate, got a chip. Again, this is just fucking hilarious, and I also love the fact that they've used a meme here. And then here, so brother, I'm not in the mood right now. You say to this menacing bird who's watching your every move. You know the moment you pull out a bag of goodies that this thing is gonna start snapping. Except you're smarter than that. Man has finally outsmarted Mother Nature because seagulls don't eat carnivore snacks. Bam. The visual copy sets all the scene. The problem is the seagulls, and it's a very relatable situation. But the enlightenment here is that if you go to the park with a bag of Carnivore Snax chips in your hand, you don't even have to worry about seagulls, which I'm not even really sure if that's true, but because it seems like something that these seagulls would actually want to eat. But anyway, it just works. And then here it says chips, yup, French fries, of course, pretzels, their favorite, but crispy little meat pastries, no way, Jose. Even those guys know their limits. Carnivore Snacks, the perfect snack for the beach. You 1, seagulls 0. This actually just feels like an advertising campaign that you would put on TV or something. But I really like the short, punchy copy here. I think it's very good. Also, one thing to notice, which is very important, is that they have added 1, 2, 3, 4 call to actions in the email, in one email, which means if you write these direct response emails that have a lot of copy in them, you don't want to assume that the person who is reading this email will go through the entire email and then click at the end of it. You want to add call to actions throughout the email, which they have done here. So I like that very much. And the third campaign, which we're going to look at, is from Hostage Tape. So this brand sells one of those, one of those sleep masks and sleep tapes that you put on, which apparently gives you better sleep, which I'm not sure if it's true, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that they have great email marketing. We're gonna break this down. So subject line here is "This is peak performance," and it has like a bicep emoji here. So out of all these three, I think this subject line, while it's still good, it still gets the job done. I think it's probably the weakest because it's only curiosity based. A person reading this will want to know what peak performance looks like. And the second thing is that it's lowercase. So, and if you look at the hook now, so the hook here is the same. So this is what peak performance looks like. This draws you in and it gets you look at the picture, which is the picture is here. So this is what you want you to look at. This is what you're gonna look at. the second after you read that hook. So you may think this looks strange, even slightly creepy, but I hate to break it to you, this is what peak performance looks like. When I see a picture like this, I think it looks ridiculous. Probably you think it looks ridiculous as well. So I like that they have used empathy in the copy here and trying to get in the reader's mindset. And here how they continue. So I bet I can predict this guy's Oura Ring sleep scores. He's probably in the top 1% for deep sleep, top 2% for REM sleep, and he's at least in the top 3% for sleep efficiency. So here they're selling the dream outcome. So anyone who is on this brand's list probably is dealing with some sort of sleep issues and they just want great sleep. And here, what they've done here is they have listed all the possible dream outcomes that the person wants. And the solution here is the sleep mask and the mouth tape, which will help you achieve those goals. And here they have done some objection handling. So ignore the people who say wearing a mouth tape and a sleep mask is too many steps before bed, because those are the same people who spend 15 minutes stretching before a workout. They use sort of like a unique angle. They say that the same goes for your sleep. If you don't prepare to sleep well, you're probably not going to sleep well. So if you spend 15 minutes preparing for a 1 hour workout, why not spend 1 minute preparing for 8 hours of sleep? Like if you're gonna stretch 15 minutes before a workout, you might as well spend 1 minute and get 8 hours of sleep. So this is like a unique angle and makes the person go like, I've never thought about it like that before. And it just makes the deal seem like a no-brainer. And here, finally, they added one call to action, and they also give risk reversal. So if you're not sleeping better within 30 days, we'll give you a full refund, which again makes the offer seem more like a no-brainer. So again, these are all great examples of direct response emails. To recap, what have we learned? So what do these campaigns all have in common? So they all use short, curiosity-based subject lines. They all tell stories. They use great hooks. So remember, if you're writing one of these campaigns, 80% of the campaign will come from the hook. That's what determines if the person is actually going to read your email. Long copy. They don't give a fuck about design, obviously, and they're funny, so they're not afraid to use like memes and GIFs and just stand out and add a little bit of personality to their emails. Also, they're valuable. So a lot of people who look at these emails, they think like, oh, these emails are not valuable or anything like that. That's false, because there's two types of value that you can give. One is giving tips or actual like educational value. And number two is entertainment. And all these emails that we just looked at are entertaining. Plus each of these email campaigns have like a story which has a transformation, changes your mindset, or it gives you a different way to look at things, which is again valuable. They're all conversational humans, so all these email campaigns feel like they've come from an actual person, not AI or anything like that. And finally, all these email campaigns sell like crazy. I hope this video was useful. I have also a newsletter where I analyze or break down similar campaigns like this every week. So if you found this video useful, chances are you will find my newsletter useful as well. So I will leave a link in the description for that. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.